Hello everyone, and welcome to Bear With Us here on UCSN, your home for all Ursinus sports news, game highlights, and updates. I'm your host, Kylie Ruggiero, and this week we'll recap the latest trending news and then hit the streets once again to hear from our fellow Bears. But first, let's get into last week's results.
Well, it was an exciting week for the Bears. Starting off with basketball, both the men's and women's team took losses in their Centennial semifinal games on Friday, putting an end to their playoff runs. The men's team took on first seed Johns Hopkins and battled until the end, losing by a score of 83-71. The women's team traveled out to Gettysburg for their semifinal, but lost by a final score of 63-48, keeping them out of the championship game. But no matter what, we are proud of our fellow Bears and the two great seasons that they had this year. Moving on to lacrosse, the men's team had 2 straight wins against Catholic and DeSales University, helping them even out their record of 2-2. The women's team have taken 3 straight wins, starting off their season 3-0 for the first time since 2007. Heading over to baseball, the men's team had a tough weekend in the field, going 1-3 in their 2 doubleheaders against DeSales University, getting outscored in the 4 games 31-21. Hopefully, they bounce back in their next few games. On the other field, the softball games against Moravian were postponed due to the snow, so they'll be back in action against Arcadia and Alvernia. Finally, the men's and women's track team had their indoor Centennial Conference Championship meet, where both teams finished as runner-ups to Johns Hopkins. That's all on Ursinus Sports. Now, let's hand it over to Kylie for some news on March Madness.
March Madness is almost here, and college basketball fans, it's time to get hype. The 2026 NCAA tournament officially kicks off with selection on March 15th, when both men's and women's 68-team brackets are revealed. Men's is at 6 p.m. on CBS, and the women's are at 8 p.m. on ESPN. Once the bracket is set, the action begins quickly. The first 4 games tip off March 17th and 18th, followed by rounds of 64 games starting March 19th and 20th. From there, it's a whirlwind of intense single-elimination basketball. The second round is March 21st and 22nd, and the Sweet 16 is March 26th and 27th, and the Elite 8 is March 28th and 29th, all leading up to the Final Four in Indianapolis on April 4th. And the National Championship game is on April 6th at the Lucas Oil Stadium. This year's tournament showcases games across cities like Dayton, Buffalo, Portland, Tampa, Philadelphia, San Diego, Houston, Chicago, and Washington, D.C., giving fans from coast to coast plenty of chances to catch the madness. Whether you're filling out a bracket or just here for the buzzer beaters, March Madness delivers unforgettable moments every year. Stay tuned, the road to the championship begins now. That's a wrap on March Madness for this week. Now, let's hand it over to Aaron for some Random Sport Roulette.
Welcome back to another segment of Random Sports Roulette, where we spin a wheel to decide which sport we'll be highlighting today. Well, it looks like we'll be talking about track today, so let's get into it. It was an exciting weekend on track for the men's and women's indoor teams who both competed in the annual Centennial Conference Championships. The women's team achieved a best ever placement in the meet, taking second only to conference powerhouse Johns Hopkins. The ladies started off strong on day 1, taking gold in the 4x2 relay, setting a new school, meet, and Centennial Conference record with a time of 1:42.31. Several athletes had outstanding performances, including senior Kaylin Ryan, who took gold in both the 60-meter hurdles and 200-meter, besting both the meet and school record in the 60-meter hurdles with a time of 8.80. Ryan also picked up a silver medal in the 4x4 relay, which featured Sophia Pascal, Layla Middleton, and JC Miller. Freshman Sophia Pascal also made some history of her own, becoming the first ever runner in program history to claim gold in the women's 400-meter for indoor track. Several other women recorded season's best in their events, including Natalie Gayapong, Mia Sedaris, Hannah Quinn, and Maddie LePay. Although the Bears did not take the title, Kaylin Ryan was named the most outstanding women's track performer at the Indoor Championships, becoming the first Bear to do so since Krista Johnson all the way back in 2009. Moving on to the men's team, the Bears also finished in the runner-up spot to John Hopkins, scoring a team total of 127 points. In the field, we saw standout performances from pole vaulter Mitchell Davis, who defended his title in the event. Sophomore Noah Sanders also had an incredible meet, claiming his first ever gold in the weight throw and setting a new school and meet record in the process. On track, senior Aiden Tobin placed fourth in the 200-meter, posting a time of 21.97, which made him one of the 4 runners in this event to top the previous meet record. The men's 4x2 relay, which featured Tobin, Noah Tapler, James Longstratton, and Aiden Happard, took the silver with a season's best time of 129.35. With the conference championships all wrapped up, the remaining Bears will be heading up to New York for the All-Atlantic Region Track and Field Conference meet. Be sure to tune in and cheer on the team. Now, let's hand it over to Kylie for some news on Philly sports.
With the Olympics wrapped up, the Flyers are back in action, taking 3 straight wins against the Rangers, Bruins, and Maple Leafs in an effort to keep their dwindling playoff chances alive. The Flyers had a great start to the season under new head coach Rick Tocchet, surpassing everyone's expectations for this young group. But the team went off the rails in mid-January, taking just 3 wins in their 15 games between January 8th and the Olympic break. Right now, the Flyers are currently 4 points out of the second Eastern Conference wildcard spot, but unfortunately for the Orange and Black, there are several teams in the mix for this playoff spot, so every game matters. Moving on down to Florida, spring training is well underway for the Phillies, where we've seen some of our starters and newcomers in action in the preseason games. So far, we've seen the Phillies' 2 top pitching prospects, Andrew Painter and Aiden Miller, on the mound, and many are hopeful we'll see them in Citizens Bank Park for the regular season. Some of our other Phillies have ditched the preseason early to suit up for their countries in the 2026 World Baseball Classic. The Phillies have 16 players on their roster who will be participating, including Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, and Brad Keller, who will be representing Team USA. Be sure to tune in now until March 17th to cheer on our Phillies. Now let's hand it over to another segment of Bears on the Street. We're here on campus asking our fellow Bears some fun sports questions. Let's see what they say.
Okay, what do you think the easiest sport here is at Ursinus?
I'd probably say soccer.
I'm not gonna lie, probably the easiest sport to play on this campus. As a former football and swimmer, I would probably have to say golf or tennis.
Basketball.
I have to go men's soccer.
I think the easiest sport would be swimming.
What team here do you think would have the best reality TV show?
Football.
Football? Why?
I'm on the football team, and I don't know, I feel like we have a lot of people and a lot of different personalities, so it'd be fun.
Gymnastics.
Why is that?
Because we're just so different in so many ways, and I think it would just be really fun.
This is a little biased, but I'm gonna go to the golf team.
Golf team? Why?
We got some characters on it.
Track and field.
Why?
There's a lot of drama sometimes, and I feel as though it'd be very easy to cover. And it's also not too big of a team for us to actually follow everybody.
I would say the swim team, to be honest with you. I think they have some guys that could be good actors on that team.
yeah.
I think, or probably the football guys.
Okay. And what is your hottest take on Ursinus sports?
Hottest take is that the wrestling team is probably the best on campus.
Okay.
I'm still shocked of how many recruits football gets and how how many football players still like leave the sport after they're recruited.
Honestly, I'm going to say the basketball team is the best sport here.
Okay.
The wrestlers can do some pretty impressive moves. I've hung out with a few guys on the team, and they can do some back flips, and I'm pretty impressed with it.
People should watch tennis more.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Well, definitely some fun and interesting answers. Now, let's head back to the studio to wrap things up.
Well, that's our show for tonight. Thanks for joining us here on another episode of Bear With Us here on UCSN, your home for all our Ursinus sports news, game highlights, and updates. Be sure to tune in next Tuesday and every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on our UC Sportsnet YouTube channel. We'll see you then.